Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back for some more Vedmak testing in EVE Online. In today's video I just found a Sansha's Nation occupied mining colony. This is in fact right after the 3 out of 10 which I had covered in the previous video about the Vedmak, because here is still that Centi A-type adaptive nanoplating. Didn't even have to dock for the next site. I am really curious to see how this ship will perform in this site, so let's get going. I do think that we'll have to prioritize our targets. Small drones, maybe not use the small drones, I'm not even sure. How do we handle the frigates? How do we handle the cruisers? That's the real question here. So let's get started. I think I want to start with the maximum damage right away, although stuff starts out up to 36 kilometers, so no. Let's put in the Meson charges. Let's slowly approach. Let's do that, and let's look for some small targets to go after first, maybe. Anyone within 34 kilometers? Yep, that one is at 33. Oh, and he's telling me I can't fire because I am being tracking disrupted, which reduces my range to 13 kilometers. That is quite painful, I must say. So we're going to switch out our tactics. Of course, it's the very first time that I actually use this ship in this site, which means that we are going to deploy our hobgoblins and put them on 5 small drones, keeping a close eye on them. We're also going to speed up now. We're going to put in an orbit, and then what's my range? 30 kilometers. So I should be able to go after this Spectre, for instance, with the long range ammo here so far. Let's see how that performs. And a very close eye on the drones, I think, is what we want as well. Very interesting start, not what I expected. I thought that we would be able to maybe snipe a couple of these guys off with our long range weapon, but no, the weapon needs a bit of time to get to full power. And what you can clearly tell here is that the focus right now is on getting rid of those frigates with my drones and keeping a close eye on those drones as well. So let's go like that. And yep, still working on the first cruiser. Now the next one is at 10 kilometers, so I can switch out to the better charges normally. Let's fire. Still doing okay on the drone front here. And nope, he's actually out of range. That is very, very interesting, that I need to use the long range ammo. And even now, because of all of the neuting, that is not working out. Okay, fascinating. Let's get a bit closer. Let's tag more of these frigates. Man, look at how important the drone damage is here in this first room. That is actually kind of crazy to me. So my positioning is bad. This means that I should take these guys as anchor points, let's say at 10 kilometers, then switch to the Baryon and then try to do that damage. Now I am cap stable, so I can just keep going with my Afterburner and my Ripper. That is not a problem. And now here 10 kilometers on this cruiser. That is a lot better when it comes to the damage application of the Disintegrator. That guy should burn down pretty quickly. And we still have this guy. Let's go. Yep, blowing up. And that means next one, orbit at 10k. All right, it's doing okay. The tank is holding really well, but I must also say that I don't get to use the Disintegrator as much as I would like. So there is definitely a learning curve to using the Vedmak in these 4 out of 10s. Now let's supplement this DPS with some medium drones, of course. There we go. That's a lot better. That's a lot faster, so we can approach all drones on this one. Let's see how quickly that cruiser dies. But we are talking already 4 minutes in the first room, which is definitely relatively long, I must say. So in goes the next one. Let's maybe try orbiting. That would be, I think, a pretty decent time saver. Send your drones on a target that's far away. Orbit one at 10 kilometers and try to stay as close as possible to the gate using this tactic. So we've got the 5 hammerheads out to the Phantasm That's out at 15 kilometers, and then we are ourselves targeting this cruiser. That DPS, I think it's respectable, but I gotta be honest, even the Jackdaw feels like it's hitting harder than this Disintegrator at the moment. Now it needs to build it up, of course, which means that it now goes up to 266 DPS, which is not so bad. Next one, orbit at 10. Start firing if we can. So we'll take a look at that DPS. Starts at 190. Goes up to 200. That's the shields gone. 210. So that is pretty cool. But it's not... This doesn't make this a fast weapon system or a very effective weapon system. So you guys are going on that one. And now the DPS goes up to 250 almost, which is starting to be alright. And then he finally dies as well. Okay, first room. Yeah, 6 minutes on the video. It's a little bit less for the room itself, but having to clear this one out then and doing the traveling. Again, this does feel like it's an okay ship. It's a good ship for exploration, especially the good tank. The cap stability is going to help, of course, but is it a top tier ship? I would say no. You get way more advantages with missiles compared to what's happening here. So we do land at the gate, which is good, and next we'll try to go for Meson long range, and we'll also try to do our snipe. So second room, let's get going. We'll rush the true Sansha, and then we'll see if we can handle the DPS and try to clear out the second room. But you do, of course, want to see if you can rush the loot pinata in the 4 out of 10. So we gotta look for true Sansha, which is right here, the true Sansha foreman. Now we're going to target him, if we are allowed to. Yep, then we're gonna approach him as quickly as possible. We're also going to launch our medium drones. I want as much DPS on this as possible. And then maybe, because it is 40... Well, no, I don't think that we even want to try to... Well, maybe we could. And now I'm being disrupted. Yep, which means that my optimal is down to 14 kilometers, which is definitely not a lot. So, yeah, the disruption from the Sansha is a bit of a problem for this weapon system. Very, very interesting. Now he'll come in range. We can take care of one frigate, apparently. And then we should be in range now to apply extra DPS. But look at that. In a Gila, he would have been gone by now. And even, I think, the Jackdaw would have done a better job when it comes to DPS. Because now I'll need to orbit this guy a bit to keep my velocity. The Disintegrator needs a bit more time to do the full DPS. My tank is holding quite well, but must also be said that is going to be because I'm using a C-type armor rep, and I've got some faction modules in the tank as well, which is mostly based on the fact that I found them. And there we go, return to drone bay, because they don't like your drones either. Flying really close. Alright, time to approach. That's pretty obvious. Let's go for... God damn it. Go for that loot. And then let's see. We'll add a small one. We'll see if we can damage this one. Am I still being disrupted like that? Range 23 kilometers. 7 million. Couple more pieces, including some resistance pieces. That is not necessarily that bad. And... let's see if we can clear out the site. So the dive works. You can see my tank is holding quite well without too much trouble. I can go after this guy at 15. We're actually going to try and orbit him at that range as well then. And I'm just going to allow my drones to do whatever it is that they're doing. Actually going after a cruiser as well. Don't necessarily mind that. And my Disintegrator here with long-range weapons. I don't feel like I can go for the Baryon charges here in this 4 out of 10. Let's also not crash into these buildings. Show me a bit of your agility, Vedmak. Alright, but the tank is very strong. The cap stability is helping, of course. Let's Start clearing out stuff that's nearby. 26 now. Let's try the Baryon charges. This guy, let's do an orbit at 5k then. And let's try not to lose too many drones. Which, yeah, another disadvantage, pretty obviously. You gotta keep an eye on your drones, and if you don't, go, go, go. Ooh, just in time, but you risk losing them. So let's keep our target up. Come on, my drones, do your job, and maybe getting rid of some of that small stuff could be good to reduce incoming DPS on the drones, because I don't think the cruisers, and look at that, 14 kilometers, can't target that guy. Can't target this one. Let's do an orbit at 5 on you then. Can I still target you? Yep, that's a good one shot. But now it's cruiser time. Works. Orbit 7.5. Drones are doing their work. So okay. I do feel comfortable, thanks to the incredible tank that it has. Part of that is of course that its innate resistances is also focused on EM and thermal, and its damage type is also mostly thermal. So this is definitely also a ship that is basically, because of its design and because of its innate damage types, that is really good to go up against Sansha. You might actually be in even more trouble against stuff like Serpentis, because you'd need to switch your feet around. But here it's doing okay, except, yeah, for all the extra work. You can imagine the Gila. Why would I be need less work in the Gila? Well, your drones are stronger in the Gila. And as a result, you don't have to worry so much, like I'm doing here, that you lose those drones. And then your other damage type, your missiles, will actually... Let's see if we can do this. Yeah, the music even ends. That means, yeah, I've been going for at least 10 minutes at this point. And the other damage type, the missiles, doesn't have the... You gotta be at the right range. You're potentially disrupted, so that you need to go even closer. All of those problems, you don't have them. Return to drone bay, return to drone bay. They really don't like your drones, as you can tell. So yeah, it's more work. But it'll get the job done as well. So very doable and super comfortable with the tank as well, of course. That is something that that should be noted as well. And let's see if we can maybe have everything on that cruiser. Well, now I can't use the Disintegrator on him. Let's reapproach. And Disintegrator, but yeah, the disruption keeps happening, and as a result I need to keep moving, keep getting in the right spots. It's not that easy. Let's see if we can take care of that Senti Savage. Now we're not even hitting this Senti Savage, something that would never happen with missiles. Missiles would have blasted this guy away a long time ago. You're next. Let's start approaching this one. Let's see if we can do some damage on him. In the meantime, my drones are doing okay and not being targeted, and we are getting closer to finishing the entire site. Just got a couple more to target. Oops, and there we go. Hammerhead under attack yet again. They really don't like it. Maybe focusing down all of these little frigates would be more effective. But you've got a but there as well, of course. That means even more positioning. And I'm not sure if that's actually going to be that much more efficient. So there we go. Next up, the Torturer. I think we can switch to full Hammerheads at this point. I'm going to disintegrate a couple more cruisers. And that will have been the test of the Vedmak in the 4 out of 10. What you should see that just doesn't budge is of course the armor. Strong resistance for the damage types that is being dealt, just innate as well. And the right damage type in the weapon does help, of course. Next up, let's do an orbit at 15, but my optimal is at 21, so I need to get a little bit closer. Maybe we'll just do Orbit at 10 then. And are they still going after one of my drones? You bastards. Should be good to go on the Wraith. It looks really nice. I love the look of the ship. I love the look of the weapon. That is very cool and very unique. Very sci-fi-ish. But it must be said, the drones seem to be doing just as much damage, especially if you look at the entirety of the site. It's not like the weapons are like showing a lot more efficiency or potential than the drones, just because also need to be at the right range. You need that spool up time before it actually gets to its higher DPS range. And as a result, this doesn't feel all that efficient to me. Still, it's a super nice toy, and on top of that, since it was a gift from a viewer, I am super happy with it. For now, thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you all next time.